At the birthday brunch, my father threw a canceled ticket at me and said, "This trip is only for the people we consider our real family." Everyone started laughing, but I quietly walked away. 2 days later, when they arrived at the airport, the $8,500 oceanfront villa reservation, the business class upgrades, and the resort transfers had all been canceled. I sent only one message. "The daughter you threw out of the family doesn't pay for your vacations." Then a voicemail came from my father. "We're stranded here. Put everything back right now." My father threw a canceled ticket at me and said, "This trip is only for the people we consider our real family." The paper hit my plate, slid through a drop of maple syrup and stopped at the edge of the table. My sister Chloe laughed. Her husband Ryan looked down, but I could still see the smile on his face. My mother Linda calmly picked up her coffee cup as if my father had said something completely normal. I picked up the ticket. My name was printed across the top. Natalie Brooks. Across the middle in bright red letters was one word. Cancelled. I looked at my father. "Why did you cancel my ticket?" "Gary," my dad leaned back in his chair. "I already told you. You told me I'm not part of the real family." Chloe set her fork down. "Natalie, it's Dad's birthday brunch. Can you please go one day without making everything into drama?" "I'm the one creating drama? You always make everything about yourself." "The ticket has my name on it. This is about me." Mom spoke quietly. "Both of you stop." I turned the ticket over. It was the exact flight I had booked 2 months earlier for Dad's 65th birthday. Columbus to Miami. Then Miami to Turks and Caicos. Business class seats. A 7-night oceanfront villa. Airport transportation. 2 private chef dinners. A golf cart rental. I had paid for almost everything. Dad folded his napkin and placed it on the table. "We decided only immediate family is going." I stared at him. "What does that make me?" No one answered. My 11-year-old niece, Lily, stopped cutting her waffle, but Chloe immediately smiled at her. "Honey, finish your breakfast." I looked back at Dad. "What am I?" He met my eyes. "For the last few years, you've been acting more like an outsider than a member of this family. Because I don't make every Sunday dinner? Because you're always working. I have a job. We all have jobs." I laid the ticket on the table. "I paid for this trip." Ryan finally spoke. "No one asked you to." I turned toward him. "You sent me pictures of that villa 3 different times." "I just said it looked nice." Chloe crossed her arms. "You always remind everyone how much you spent." "No. I'm asking why I was removed from a trip that I paid for." Dad tapped the table. "We don't want tension." "What tension?" "You control everything," Chloe said. "The hotel, the flights, the restaurants. Then everyone remembers that you paid for it." I looked directly at her. "You picked the villa. Dad picked the dates. Mom wanted business class because her knees hurt. Ryan asked for the airport transfer. I just paid the bill." Dad's voice became colder. "That's exactly the problem. You think paying gives you ownership. And you think spending my money gives you the right to erase me?" The table went silent. At the next booth, a little boy spilled orange juice while dishes clattered in the kitchen. Dad pushed the ticket toward me. "You'll get your money back." "When?" He hesitated. "After the trip." I nodded slowly. "So you'll use my money, leave me behind, and pay me back someday?" Chloe rolled her eyes. "Dad already said he'll pay you." "Then pay me now." She blinked. "What?" "You and Ryan can pay your share today." Ryan shifted uncomfortably. "We don't have that kind of cash available." "Then you can't afford this vacation." Dad raised his voice. "Enough. This is my birthday brunch." I folded the ticket and slipped it into my purse. Mom looked at me. The cake is coming." "I don't want cake." Dad laughed under his breath. "Just like always. Walk away and make yourself the victim." I stood up. "You're right. I am leaving." I paid for my own breakfast at the register and walked out of the restaurant. The parking lot was blazing hot. My car had been sitting in the sun and the steering wheel burned my hands. I started the air conditioner and opened my phone. Chloe had already posted a picture of the birthday cake in the family group chat. Dad was blowing out the candles. Caption read, "Real family. Real memories." Mom had added a heart emoji. I took a screenshot. Then I opened the airline app. Every reservation was under my account. The villa was booked in my name. The flights, airport transfers, chef services, and every other reservation were connected to my credit card. Only my ticket had been cancelled. Dad had called the travel agent and claimed I wasn't coming because of personal reasons. Everyone else's reservations were still active. I didn't do anything. Not yet. When I got home I sat at my kitchen table. Around 4 o'clock Mom called. "Why did you leave like that?" "Because Dad said I'm not family." "He didn't mean it that way." Those were his exact words. She was quiet. Finally she said, "He's still upset about Christmas." At Christmas I had arrived late because of a business meeting in Denver. Dad had said in front of everyone, "Work always comes first with you." I answered, "Work also paid for your new roof." I asked Mom, "So this is all because I answered him once? You embarrassed him." "He called me selfish in front of everyone. You could have stayed quiet." I stayed quiet today. It didn't help. Her voice softened. "Natalie, don't cancel the trip." I sat up. "I never said I would. Gary thinks you'll make an emotional decision. You didn't think about that before removing me? We'll pay you back after we get home." "With what money?" She didn't answer. For the last 6 years I had become the family's default bank account. Dad's roof. Mom's dental surgery. Chloe's baby shower. Lily's private school deposit. Thanksgiving catering. Every time I heard the same sentence. "You're single. You don't have as many expenses." As I was single my money belonged to everyone. Because Chloe was married her finances were considered private. The next day while I was eating lunch at work my cousin Brooke texted me. "Did you really cancel on them?" I replied. "They canceled my ticket." She called immediately. After I explained everything she went quiet. Then she said, "I'm sending you something." A few seconds later screenshots appeared. It was another group chat. Brooke's family vacation. I wasn't in it. 3 weeks earlier Chloe had written, "Once Natalie pays, Dad can remove her ticket. She'll be annoying the whole trip anyway." Ryan replied, "Keep the villa under her credit card until check-in." Mom wrote, "I don't like this. What if she cancels?" Dad answered, "She won't. She always wants to prove she's the bigger person." I stared at the screen. Another screenshot appeared. "We'll tell her the refund is processing. By the time she realizes we'll already be there." Ryan added, "She won't cancel because she'll lose her travel points." Dad wrote, "He cares too much about appearances." I slowly set my phone down. "Are you okay?" Brooke asked. "Yes." "You don't sound okay." "I finally understand." "What are you going to do?" "I'm checking my reservations. Their flight left in 2 days." When I got home I opened my laptop and reviewed every cancellation policy. The business class tickets were fully refundable. The $8,500 villa reservation had a $1,200 cancellation fee. The airport transportation, private chef and golf cart were fully refundable. I called the airline. "You want to cancel every remaining passenger?" the agent asked. "Yes." "May I ask why?" "The trip was booked for the wrong group." Then I called the villa manager. "Our arrival is only 2 days away," she said. "I know. There will be a cancellation fee." "That's fine." One by one I canceled everything. The total cost to me was about $1,460. It was still cheaper than paying for people who had decided I wasn't family. I didn't tell anyone. Wednesday evening, Chloe posted matching airport outfits in the family chat. Dad replied, "Finally, a peaceful family vacation." I muted the conversation. Thursday morning my phone exploded with calls. Chloe, Ryan, Dad. I ignored every one of them. I made coffee. My toast burned while I listened to the first voicemail. "Natalie," Dad yelled, "the airline says our tickets were canceled. Call me immediately." Then Chloe, "Are you serious right now? We're at the airport. Lily is crying. What did you do?" Then another voicemail from Dad. "We're stranded. Fix this now. Reactivate the tickets. Get the villa back. Stop acting like a child." I opened the family group chat. Chloe, "Natalie, answer your phone." Ryan, "We can still make the next flight if you fix this." Mom, "Please don't punish Lily." Dad, "You have 10 minutes. I typed one sentence. "The daughter you threw out of the family doesn't pay for your vacations." Dad answered instantly. You had no right. I replied. Every reservation was in my name and paid for with my credit card. Chloe wrote. You promised us this trip. I answered. I promised a family vacation. You said I wasn't family. Ryan typed. We'll pay you back. Then book it yourselves. Chloe called again. You did this in front of Lily. I didn't bring her to the airport. She was excited for months. Book another trip. Do you know how much same-day business class tickets cost? Buy economy. The villa is sold out. Find a hotel. There was silence. Finally she asked. Brooke showed you the chat, didn't she? This isn't about Brooke. Those were private messages. So is my credit card. You always make us feel poor. I've never said that. You don't have to. You always pay. Not anymore. Dad is never speaking to you again. He already decided I wasn't family. I ended the call. Mom called next. Please put the tickets back. They're cancelled. We can buy new ones. Then buy them. Our cards keep getting declined. I closed my eyes. You all came to the airport expecting me to keep paying. We thought you'd stay angry, but you wouldn't ruin the trip. Because Dad believed I cared too much about appearances? She didn't answer. How are we supposed to get home? She asked quietly. You drove there. You're being cruel. I didn't lie to anyone. I simply canceled my own reservations. That evening Dad showed up at my townhouse wearing the same beige airport sweatshirt. I opened the front door but left the screen door closed. Open the door, he said. We can talk like this. You embarrassed us. You embarrassed yourselves. That brunch was different. You planned it 3 weeks in advance. His expression changed. Who told you? That doesn't matter. He looked away before finally saying, Chloe said you'd control the whole vacation. So you removed me. She never feels comfortable around you. Because I paid for her wedding flowers, her baby shower and Lily's tuition? That's the problem, he admitted. Everyone feels like they owe you. You could have stopped accepting my money. Families help each other. Families don't use each other. We were going to pay you back. You couldn't. He didn't answer. Finally he muttered, You don't need the money. There was the real reason. I stepped outside. You decided that because I built a successful life, everything I own belongs to you. I didn't say that. You just did. After a long silence he asked, Can you rebook the trip for next week? I almost laughed. You still don't understand. You overreacted. I reached into my purse and pulled out the canceled ticket with the dried maple syrup stain. I held it out. Happy birthday. He didn't take it. The ticket fell onto the driveway. From now on, I said, nothing connected to my credit card belongs to this family. No trips. No home repairs. No tuition. Nothing. What about your mother? She knew the plan. He clenched his jaw. Fine. We'll manage without you. That's all I ever wanted. He walked away, stepping on the ticket as he climbed into his SUV. Over the next few weeks, almost everyone in the family stopped speaking to me. Chloe posted a quote on Instagram. Money can't buy class. I blocked her. A couple of months later, Brooke told me they eventually took a cheaper trip to the Bahamas. Economy seats. A budget hotel. No oceanfront villa. For the first time they paid for their own vacation. I wasn't invited to Thanksgiving. Instead I spent the holiday at a coworker's house. The turkey was a little dry. The mashed potatoes were excellent. And no one expected me to pick up the check. Dad sent one text on Christmas. Hope you're happy. I never answered. I wasn't happy. But for the first time in years I was at peace. That canceled ticket is still sitting in my desk drawer. The maple syrup stain has dried into the corner of the paper. Whenever I see it I don't think about Turks and Caicos. I remember Dad's hand throwing it. Chloe's laugh. Mom's silence. And that voicemail from the airport. We're stranded. Fix this now. I never fixed it. Because the day they threw me out of the family was the same day I removed them from my wallet. If this story kept you watching until the end, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring you more powerful stories like this every week. Thank you so much for watching and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next story.